Okay, so let's dive into a history that's been pretty much lost to time. The epic story of Earth's very first, and maybe most important, battle against a cosmic invader.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll kick things off with the big bad himself in Accursed Name. Then we'll figure out what he was after in The Planet Killer. After that, we'll meet the heroes in Earth's Unlikely Defenders, watch them fight in the Golden Age of Heroes, and finally see how it all wrapped up in a victory for all time.
Alright, so picture this. Thousands and thousands of years ago, the sky above ancient Earth just rips open, and this massive, terrifying fleet of ships appears out of nowhere. And look, this wasn't just some invasion. It was an annihilation. They brought a kind of power the ancient world had never even dreamed of, and they just laid waste to anyone and everyone who dared to stand against them. The being leading this whole terrifying show, he went by a name that was already, and I quote, cursed and feared in every universe. That name was Darkseid. His reputation alone was a weapon, spreading terror across all of existence way before he even set his sights on Earth.
Now you gotta ask, why Earth? Why here? Well, what's really fascinating is that Darkseid wasn't just on some random conquest tour. Nope, he came here because he was hunting for a very specific and very secret source of power.
And that secret power? It was all locked away inside these three objects called the Mother Boxes. Now, these things were built from a science so incredibly advanced that to anyone looking, it was basically just sorcery. And they weren't just tools. Oh no, they were like objects of worship for Darkseid's mystics, and they were the absolute key to his entire plan. So, how did this all work? Well, his mystics had this horrifying three-step plan to unleash hell. Step 1, synchronize the three boxes. Step 2, join them all together. This creates a planet-shattering event they call the Unity, which brings us to the final awful step. Cleanse the entire world with fire.
And this really shows you the stakes here. Before the Unity, you have a living, breathing planet full of unique life. Afterwards, it's turned into a fiery, dead replica of Darkseid's own horrible world. And maybe the worst part? Any survivors are twisted into these mindless servants, these things called parademons, who just exist to serve him. That was the price of losing.
So, with this absolutely apocalyptic threat on their doorstep, how did Earth even begin to respond? Well, a group of protectors stood up, and they formed an alliance that, honestly, should have been impossible.
And this is what's so incredible about this story. These groups were not friends, not even close. In fact, their entire histories had basically taught them to hate and mistrust one another. Under any other circumstances, they probably would have been at each other's throats.
So who are we talking about here? Well, first you had the old gods themselves, then the tribes of men. You had the Atlanteans, and this was way before their kingdom sank beneath the waves. You had the Amazons, also before their great betrayal and enslavement. And if that wasn't enough, you had Guardians from the Stars joining the fight. 5 totally different, historically divided factions all coming together for one cause.
So, this all leads to the big one, the battle for Earth itself. You've got the planet on the very edge of being destroyed, and these rival armies are the only thing standing in the way. The fate of everything hung in the balance.
Right at the last possible second, just as the Mother Boxes were starting to hum and synchronize, just before that world-ending chain reaction could be completed, this impossible alliance of defenders launched a desperate, all-out attack. They didn't hesitate.
And this right here? This was the game changer. It was the single most important decision they made. They didn't fight as 5 separate armies. No, they pushed aside all that history, all that mistrust, and they fought as one.
I mean, can you just imagine what this looked like? You've got Amazons fighting shoulder to shoulder with Atlanteans, these ancient enemies now fighting for each other. You have the king of the old gods, Zeus, with his son Ares, leading the charge. And raining down from above, you've got the Green Lanterns, these guardians from the stars. It was truly, literally, a golden age of heroes.
And this incredible, united front, well, they pulled off something that would become the stuff of legend. An event that would shape the future of the entire planet.
Let's be super clear about how huge this was. They accomplished something that no other world, no other civilization in the entire cosmos had ever managed to do before.
The outcome was decisive and total. Darkseid and his entire unstoppable armada were beaten
broken and driven off of Earth. They sent him packing right back into the dark of space where he came from.
So the end result of their victory was absolute. The three mother boxes were kept apart, they never synchronized. That apocalyptic event, the Unity, it never happened. And because of the courage of these unlikely allies, life on Earth was saved.
So, they achieved a victory for all time. They sent the enemy screaming back into the stars. But that ancient win leaves us with one crucial and kind of terrifying question for the future, doesn't it? What happens if he ever comes back?